Oh, hey Roman, why do hipsters walk so slow?
Why do they walk so slow?
Because they're not going anywhere.
How stupid.
What's up? I'm Jay White. We're doing this project called A Lucky Devil. A Lucky Devil is it's like a one-man clique. And it's not the Lucky Devil, it's a Lucky Devil because anyone can be a Lucky Devil. You know, it's about becoming a positive center and so wholly positive that your thoughts are like prayers, and when you speak them out, they're like magic spells. It's about underdogs that just never really felt like they fit in. I don't know. I've lived all over now. Sometimes I feel like the only rapper in the world without a hood. I've lived in like 9 cities. You know, a lot of the time I spent is in the Midwest. You know, Detroit, Louisville, Chicago. Spent a good chunk of my formative years in these cities, and I think a lot about artistry and creatives. And for most artists, we're sponges. We really soak up our environments. You know, I've always been a writer first. Right now I'm doing this hip hop medium, and I enjoy it. I never thought it would be the medium for me. But it's so closely attached to my life. It became necessary. Everything in my life pushed me towards it. You know, I was listening to this podcast the other day. It was a writer, Brett Easton Ellis, and he was interviewing Matt Berninger from The National, who's also a Midwestern creative. They were discussing one of my favorite fiction writers, Jonathan Franzen. Jonathan Franzen also grew up in the Midwest, and he describes the Midwest, and I'm paraphrasing here, as a region defined by a prolonged state of innocence. He argues that because the Midwest is so far from either a border or a coast, that it's kind of lost in time. And due to that, the possibility of cynicism takes a hair longer. So you have in most regions cynicism hitting you earlier, but here in the Midwest, late 20s, early 30s, you carry this prolonged state of innocence with you, this kind of folly of youth, devil may care, fuck all attitude. But then he argues that when cynicism does occur, because it happens later in life, it hits the inhabitant like a ton of bricks. They nearly feel duped or betrayed by the cards they were dealt, and they clutch onto this cynicism often like some sort of security blanket. And that's quite the juxtaposition. You know, I feel fortunate sometimes that I've gotten to live all over the Eastern Seaboard, Midwest. My roots are from the South, you know. So it's given me the ability to kind of look through the glass. You know, on the flip side, I've always felt a little bit like an outsider. You know, my mother kicked me out when I was 12. So there's a kind of literal homelessness, but also a spiritual homelessness. It just stays with you, you know. Leaving the South, anyone with half a brain, if you get out alive, you leave with a chip on your shoulder. It took getting sober to knock that chip off and put the chip in my pocket. You know, I got this track I wrote that I don't know if I'll ever release. It's very personal, but it talks about my afflictions. You know, sometimes I'll go on a date with a girl and I'll hold her hand, and she'll feel how soft my hands are, and she won't buy my sob story. So I thought it was necessary to write this verse. It goes a little something like, my mother kicked me out when I was 12. Left a private school where I learned one day I would go to hell. Had to move in with my dad to a motel. Spent a summer watching him bring methadone to show and tell. Public school, please come and save me by the bell. Only fit in with the dealers, bought the drugs that they would sell. Now I'm dealing like the cards that I was dealt. Perhaps a dose of psychedelics make him come out of his shell. Methadone, clinic trips at the tender age of 6. Daddy, why I got 2 mommies, ain't you got a dick? Mommy, why is daddy always fucking high as shit? Other mommy, why my mother just assaults you with a fist? Father God, I got no shot, bro, what the motherfuck is this? Little brother acting like my pop just picked up a syringe. I got a dip, lickety split, before I take another hit. Family cursing up my story, talking tales from the crypt. Heads or tails, what's the point? Just pin the tail on my dick. If a suit fit, I might wear one. Someone call it Taylor Swift. Someone call it jailer shit. Y'all gonna gain a neighbor quick. I ain't Tim the Toolman Taylor. Got no Wilson in his bitch. Got no Wilson on this island neither. Cast away my ship. Now them pills have made a psycho. Some mistakes you can't forgive. Some mistakes you can't forgive. But I'ma make it out this bitch. You know, it was tough. It was mad tough.
I just want a Picasso in my casa. Sofia Vergara on a knee, tossing my salsa. I mean my salad, add some cilantro. Pico de gallo, ay Dios mío, lo que faso. Popular people got me popping pills till I'm pushing daisies. Probably inside insane asylums after my praise. Maybe not, got lots of problems, might be gone and forgotten. Posthumous, his point of view was partly off like his posture. Should I go